Jack? Jack, I'm still here. I got out of the car. I know I shouldn't have, I know that. I know sensible people do not stop on the side of the road, and they don't get out of their cars when there are police lights and a white van and men carrying a body bag from the river. A sensible person would have kept driving. Sensible people say that is none of my business, and they go to work and they clock in and they tie their aprons and ask strangers if they want cream with their coffee. I'm not being sensible, Jack, but I am back in my car now. I didn't get too close, but I got close enough to see mud on everybody's boots. I was close enough to see the way that the black bag shone when the rain hit it. It doesn't look real, Jack. And that's a stupid thing to say, because it does actually look terribly real. It looks more real than anything has looked all week. But the roads look fake, and the trees, and the sheriff's car looks like a toy somebody left too close to the ditch and it got muddy. But that bag looks really real, Jack. There were 2 men carrying it, one at each end. Their hands were gloved, and one of them kept looking down at his feet like he was worried he was going to slip. And I kept thinking, oh God, don't drop her. I don't know why I thought her. I don't know why, Jack. That's horrible. Maybe because everybody's being so careful. Maybe because the bag looks too small to be a man. That's awful and dramatic, and I'm sorry. I don't even know if it's true. Bodies probably look smaller once they've been zipped up and carried away like luggage. Oh God, Jack, I feel sick. Someone just looked at me. One of the deputies. I kinda know him, not well. Cedar Bend isn't big enough to not know a face. He comes into the diners sometimes. He always gets black coffee, and he never tips enough, which feels like a cruel thing to remember right now. When I got out of the car, he asked me if I was all right, and I said yes. That was a stupid answer. He looked at me like he didn't believe me, but not enough to do anything about it. And he said there was nothing to see here, which is also stupid, because there's very clearly something to see here. Everybody was seeing it. I asked what happened, and I shouldn't have. I know I shouldn't have, but the words were already out of my mouth before I could make myself polite. He said, you should get to work, Holly. Not go home and not move along, just get to work. Like that's what I was made for. Like the road had opened its mouth and shown me something terrible hidden in its crooked teeth, and the only correct response was to go pour coffee over it. I said I was on my way, and he just nodded and looked back at the river. Everybody keeps looking back at the river, like they're worried it isn't finished. One of the men near the van is holding up a bag, Jack. A clear one. It's an evidence bag, I think, and I can't really see what's inside. Not really. It's dark and wet, and it's all twisted, and it looks like the purple cloth, Jack. God, no, it's probably not. It's not the purple cloth. It's probably rope or some piece of garbage the river dragged up with her. Her. There I go again. Her. Oh, God, I need to leave. I need to get to work. I'm going to be late, Jack. And I'm just sitting here with rain down the back of my collar, and my ankles are hurting so badly all of a sudden, I'm going to throw up. I turn the heat on in the car, and it smells wrong. Like damp leaves and old pennies. Cars can smell like that after rain. That's normal. Wet floor mats with muddy shoes, and little dirty places people forget to clean all over, and... Jack, I'm going to work. I have to go. I'm going to work. I am going to be late, and Suzanne is going to look at me with that tight little mouth she gets when she's deciding whether to be angry or worried. And I'm going to put on my apron, and I'm going to carry plates, and I'm going to not think about that bag. I am not going to think about how careful they were with it, and I'm not going to think about the river. Jack, it's me. It's 6:22 p.m. I'm in the bathroom at the diner. Again. I should probably stop making this bathroom such a central part of my emotional life, but here we are. I was 40 minutes late today. 43 technically, because Frederick said, "Nice of you to join us," in his annoying smug voice, and then looked at the clock like he was doing math at me. I think I'm starting to prefer our morning Frederick over the evening Frederick. Suzanne didn't say anything at first. She just looked at me. Then she looked at my shoes. And I don't know why everybody keeps looking at my feet lately. I told her there was something on the road, an accident maybe. I don't know why I said accident, nobody else has said accident. But saying body felt like putting something dirty on the counter where people eat. And Suzanne's face changed. She didn't look surprised, and that's the part that made me feel cold. She didn't look surprised at all. She looked like I had finally said the thing everybody else had been carrying around quietly. And she said, "Yeah, we heard." Just that. Just her acknowledging that they heard. Of course they heard. The diner hears everything before it even happens and then pretends it's just gossip. I asked if she knew who it was, and Suzanne said no. And then she touched my arm softly. I thought she touched it way too carefully. And then she told me that I should wash up and take table 6. Table 6. That felt mean, even though it wasn't. I don't know what I have against table 6 tonight, but there's something. Everything feels mean tonight, Jack. The coffee pot feels mean, and every time the door opens and the little bell chimes, it feels mean. Even the wet little footprints customers leave on the floor feel mean because they keep looking like they're walking toward me instead of away. There's one set I keep noticing near the back hallway. They're too faint to be anything. They're probably just somebody's boots. Probably Frederick's from coming inside after a cigarette break, or Suzanne's shoes from when she went to check the storage room. But they look bare. No, that's not true. I know that isn't true. Bare footprints don't appear on diner tile just because a woman is nervous and tired and keeps thinking about rivers. Still, there are 5 little toe shapes in the floor by the mop bucket. Or at least there was. It's just water, Jack. See, I can be reasonable. Everyone is talking about it, though, not loudly. They're talking in those little careful half voices people use when they don't want to be overheard, when they don't want to be held responsible for what they're saying. That poor woman, that's what Mrs. Gardner said. That poor woman. So they do know it's a woman. Or at least they think they do. Or somebody told somebody who told somebody else, and now the whole town is chewing on it like burnt gristle. Mr. Nemec said the river's been high enough to carry something from miles away. Something. Not someone. People keep doing that too. They keep making her an object before they let her be a person. Just something in the water, and something by the bank, something they found, and something they zipped up and took away in a white van. I nearly dropped a plate when he said miles away, because I thought, what if she wasn't from here? But then right after, I thought, what if she was? And then right after that, I thought, what if I know exactly who she is, and I'm just waiting for everybody else to say it first? I hate my head, Jack. I hate how it makes shapes out of everything. Rosemary's here today, and she looks better. No, not really better. More arranged, that's the word. Her hair is pinned back perfectly, and her lipstick is neat. Her apron is cleaned and ironed. She looks like somebody copied Rosemary out of memory and made sure all of the parts were there where they were supposed to be. She said hello when I came in, and I just said hello back. Like we were normal women who say normal things to each other, while bodies are being pulled up from rivers and days go missing and cats come home with sand in their fur. She still hasn't touched me, not once. Not accidentally, or not even as she brushed past me. There was no brushing. Not even when she hands me plates. She sets things down near me, never into my hand. I tried to pretend I didn't notice, but I noticed, Jack. Of course I noticed. That's what I do now. I notice everything, and I understand nothing. I asked her if she heard about what happened. She was filling the sugar dispensers, the little glass ones with silver tops that always get sticky no matter how often we wipe them down. She didn't look at me, and she just said everybody heard. And I said, do they know who it was? And she turned one of the sugar dispensers in her hand as if she was looking for something in the glass. And then she said, they will. I don't know what that means, Jack. I mean, I know what it means. They'll identify the body and they'll call someone. And then someone will cry. And someone will say, oh God, I knew it. And then someone will bring a casserole. 'Cause that's how towns handle death. They feed it. But that isn't how she said it. She said it like a promise or a warning. And then I asked if she was all right, and she just smiled at me. not with her mouth, but sort of near it. And she said, "I'm back, aren't I?" Again. She said it again, and I wanted to scream, Jack. I didn't, of course. I poured coffee for table 6 so hard it splashed onto the saucer, and the man sitting there said, "Careful, sweetheart," and I nearly cried because I wanted to hit him with the pot. I'm not having a good night, Jack. The light over the sink keeps flickering. Not the whole bathroom, just this little buzzing light above the mirror. It goes dim for a second and then bright again and then dim. And when it dims, the room behind me looks bigger. I know it's just a trick. The fluorescent lights make everything look cheaply haunted. But for 1 second, Jack, the bathroom stalls looked like they were further back than they should be. It looked like there were more doors than just the 3. Like there were 4 or maybe 5. And one of them had river mud under it, and I don't even know why my brain is putting that together. I hardly even saw anything. And then the light came back up, and it was only the same ugly tile, and only the same little sign telling the employees to wash their hands, like that has ever saved anyone. I should go back out. Someone's going to knock if I stay in here much longer. And the mirror looks wrong, and I keep expecting to look up and see somebody behind me, somebody wet, somebody with river in her hair, and somebody with her mouth open, and I'm going back out. Jack, it's 8:09 p.m. I'm by the back door. Frederick is outside smoking, even though he said he quit, which is apparently something people say when they mean they would like credit for wanting to. Rosemary said something to me, Jack. I don't know what to do with it. God, I never know what to do with it anymore. I was carrying a tray back to the kitchen, just some empty plates and half-eaten fries, and a little cup of ranch someone had stirred a straw into for reasons I don't want to understand. Rosemary was standing near the dish pit. She was just standing there, not washing anything or putting anything away. She was just looking at the water running under the faucet. The sink was too full and the water had gone cloudy, that ugly gray-brown color with the food bits floating in it, just disgusting and normal. And she said, "You shouldn't have stopped, Holly." I thought she meant the water. I don't know why. I said, "What?" And she looked at me then. She met my eyes with hers, and she really looked at me, Jack. And God, she looked so tired. And that's the first real thing I've seen in her face since she came back. She said, "Out on the road." And I felt my hands go loose around the tray I was carrying, and one of the forks slid, and it clattered onto the floor, and I swear the whole kitchen went quiet for half a second. And then everything started again, the grill and the faucet and Frederick outside coughing. And I said, "How did you know I stopped?" And Rosemary looked down at the fork, and she bent over, and she picked it up with 2 fingers like it had been somewhere dirty, which, to be honest, the floor was pretty disgusting that late in the day. And she said, "Everybody stops." I meant to ask her more, but she stepped back before I could, like she knew I wanted to keep asking. And she dropped the fork into the sink and said, "Don't ask too close to closing, Holly." And then she walked out. Don't ask too close to closing. What does that mean? God, what does any of it mean, Jack? I'm so tired of people in this town saying things that sound like they were translated badly from languages nobody even remembers speaking. I'm tired of rules that nobody tells you about until after you break them, and I am tired of people looking at me like I am a door they're waiting to see open. And when Rosemary walked away, the faucet sputtered. Not loudly, it was just a little choke of the pipe, and the water came out darker for half a second, tea-colored, maybe rust. Old pipes do that, they get rusty. The Junco is old enough to have pipes that have too many problems, and honestly, if I had been carrying dishwater and secrets through my walls for this many years, I would have even more problems than I already have too. But there was a smell, Jack, just for a breath. It was that penny smell. And Frederick came in and said, "Is the sink acting up again?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "It does that when they find somebody." I stared at him, Jack, and he looked back at me like he hadn't said anything odd at all. And then he wiped ash off of his sleeve and said, "The plumbing's sensitive." Plumbing is not sensitive. People in Cedar Bend keep saying things like the world is full of moody little organs, and we are all just rude for noticing them beating. I should get back. Suzanne keeps watching me. She's not looking at me unkindly. But Jack, I don't want kindness from anybody tonight unless I can crawl inside of it and sleep there until morning. right, Jack. It's 10:37 p.m. We're closing now, and I don't know how I made it through tonight. I mean it in the most practical way possible. I don't remember carrying half the plates I must have carried. And I don't remember refilling most of the coffee that I know I refilled because the pots are empty and my wrists hurt from holding them so long. My body did the shift without me, and I hate that. I hate the idea of my body knowing how to do things without asking me first. At one point I found myself standing at table 3 with a piece of pie in my hand and no memory of cutting it. It was cherry, and it was too red, Jack. That isn't fair to the pie. Cherry pie's allowed to be red. That's almost the whole point of it, Jack. But the filling had spilled over the side and down onto the plate in this thick little line, and I had the most horrible thought that if I touched it, it would be warm. It wasn't. I checked. With my finger. Which is disgusting, I know. I know it is. I brought them a new slice, so don't look at me like that. Rosemary left 20 minutes ago, and she said goodnight to Suzanne, and then goodnight to Frederick, and she did not say goodnight to me. But when she passed behind me, she stopped. Just for a second, and she was close enough that I could smell her perfume. It was old-fashioned and powdery, with a little bit of floral that made me think of church bathrooms and women who keep tissues tucked up their sleeves. And she said very softly, "Don't go home hungry." And then she left. That's all. Don't go home hungry. Maybe she really just meant food. Maybe she saw that I didn't eat on my break. Maybe it was just a normal thing a coworker says when she notices another woman shaking too hard. But I don't think so. I'm trying very hard not to make everything into a message, but I am failing, Jack. Frederick said I looked like death warmed over, which was a rude but technically generous thing to say, because at least in that version, death gets to be warm. Suzanne asked if I wanted her to follow me home. And that almost made me cry, not because I wanted her to, and not because I thought it was a nice offer, but because I almost said yes. Can you imagine me and Suzanne driving down the old church road in a sad little convoy, like two women with headlights could keep the trees in their place? I told her no, and that I was fine, and she looked at me like she didn't believe me, because nobody believes me when I say that anymore. I don't even believe me, Jack. Before I clocked out, I went to grab my coat, and it wasn't where I left it. I always hang it on the second hook, Jack, always. The first hook is bent, and the third one has gum stuck near the bottom from God knows when, so I used the second. But tonight it was on the third. Maybe I moved it and forgot. That is the kind of thing I have to accept about myself now, I guess. I move things and I forget. Maybe days move and I forgot. Maybe bodies move and the whole town just pretends that the weather did it. There was something in my pocket. It was a sugar packet, Jack. The little white kind from the tables. There was no writing on it except for the brand, but it was damp. It was damp all the way through, because the sugar inside had gone hard like one little brick. And I don't know why I'm telling you this like it matters, because it probably doesn't. Maybe tomorrow I will listen to this and wonder why I spent a full minute of my life narrating my worries over wet sugar. But Rosemary had been filling the sugar dispensers, and then my coat was moved, and then there was wet sugar in my pocket, so I'm telling you. I need to get out of this uniform, Jack. It smells like coffee and fryer oil and other people's fear. Or maybe that last part is just me. I'll talk to you in the car. Jack, it's 10:58 p.m. now. I'm driving home and the road is dark. And I know roads are dark at night, and it's not really that interesting or strange, but the darkness feels thick. The trees are closer to the shoulder. Their branches are heavy with rain, hanging low like they're tired of holding themselves up. And I keep thinking about the body bag, Jack. I keep thinking about how black it was. And that feels obvious, doesn't it? Body bags are black, but I'd never really thought about it before, not properly. Black is such a final color, Jack. It doesn't offer anything. I keep thinking about the way the deputy said I should get back to work, like he knew exactly where I belonged. And maybe everybody in Cedar Bend belongs somewhere, and maybe that's a problem, because maybe if you step too far out of your place, the town starts correcting you. Jack, I'm sorry, I'm rambling. My head hurts, and I'm so tired that I could feel my thoughts losing their edges. There's a car behind me, not really close, just headlights. I noticed it after I turned off the main road, and it's probably nothing. And it's actually almost definitely nothing, because people do drive behind other people sometimes. That's how roads work. That's why there are lanes and mirrors and brake lights. But still, it's been there for a while, Jack, and I'm turning onto my road now. It turned too, and you know what, that's fine, that's allowed. There are houses out this way. Roads go places. I am not the only human who gets to live in these trees, and I'm not going to make this into something I refuse to, Jack. I'm too tired. The headlights are still there, the same distance away, like they're tied to me, and that's a stupid thought. That's a really dramatic thought, Jack. I passed by the place where the deer was, or where it wasn't anymore. My headlights caught something white for a second. It was low to the ground, and I thought it was a flower, but then I looked in the rearview mirror after I passed, and there's nothing there. It's just the headlights, Jack. And they flashed once. Like the other driver had hit a bump, or maybe the car blinked, and that's not funny. I didn't mean it blinked. I'm almost home. I'm going to turn into the driveway in a second, and whoever it is will keep going, and I will feel very silly and very dramatic and very relieved, which is one of my least favorite emotional combinations. Okay, I'm turning in now. God damn it, Jack, the headlights are turning behind me and... No, it's okay, wait. Oh, it's just, God, it's just Dennis. Jack, Dennis's truck, I can see it now. I am so stupid. Oh, thank God. No, not thank God, I don't know. My hands are shaking and I feel dumb and dramatic, Jack. But he followed me? Why did he follow me? Maybe he heard. Of course he heard. Everybody heard. I'm going to put you in my pocket. I don't know why you're going in my pocket. Maybe because I'm awful. Maybe because I need there to be a witness that isn't my own miserable head. So I am keeping you on just for a minute, Jack. Dennis? You scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, I know, sweetheart. I'm sorry.
Did you follow me?
I saw you leave.
So you followed me.
I didn't want this to be a phone call.
That doesn't answer the question, Dennis.
No, it doesn't. I know. I wasn't trying to scare you.
Then what were you trying to do?
Get here. Before I change my mind.
Change your mind about what?
I don't know. All of it. Coming here and saying things I can't say and standing in front of you like this.
Standing in front of me like what?
Like a man who don't know where his hands go. I sat in the truck outside the sheriff's office for maybe 20 minutes after. Maybe more. I don't know. Kept thinking I should go home. Then I kept thinking, what home? You know what? What the hell am I going home to?
The sheriff's? Dennis, did they call you?
Yeah.
What did they say?
They said they needed me to come in.
Why did they need you to come in?
Holly,
Dennis, why did they need you to go in?
to identify her.
Her?
Don't make me say it like that.
I need you to say it out loud, Dennis.
It was Lila.
What?
It was her.
Are you sure? Are they sure?
They asked me to come in and look at her. Jesus Christ. I thought I knew what a body looked like. I mean, I seen my father after. Different thing, but still. You think a person is a person until they ain't.
Dennis, you don't have to.
Her hair was wrong.
Stop.
I don't mean wrong like that. I mean, I knew it was her before I knew it was her. Because her hair never did what she wanted it to do. Little pieces always came loose by her ears. Drove crazy. She'd wet her fingers and smooth them back, and 5 minutes later it'd be loose again.
Oh, God, Dennis, I'm sorry.
I used to tease her for it. That's what I thought about. Not anything good. Not our wedding. Not when we first met. Not all the things people probably think they're supposed to think about. I thought about teasing her about her hair. Her getting mad at me for it. That's a rotten thing, ain't it?
No, it's not.
Feels rotten.
It sounds human, Dennis.
Human's a generous word for me right now.
Don't do that.
Do what?
Don't make me argue with you while you're hurting.
I didn't know where else to go.
Okay, well, come inside.
Holly,
You need to sit down and I can get you a drink.
I shouldn't be here.
I know.
I don't know what to do.
Sit down. That's what you need to do. You need to sit down, Dennis.
Sit down.
Yes.
Sit down. That's your answer.
It's the only answer I have right now.
Figures.
What?
Nothing, just you. Making a chair sound like mercy.
Dennis, please.
Sorry. God, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that ugly. I don't know how to talk. Everything I say comes out with teeth on it.
Then just don't talk for a minute, Dennis.
I can do that. He's staring at me.
Yeah, he does that.
No, he don't. Not like that.
He doesn't like the rain.
I don't think it's the rain he doesn't like.
Dennis,
Right. Sorry.
just come inside.
If I come in, I don't know if I'll be able to leave tonight.
Then don't.
Holly,
Dennis, you can stay on the couch.
you don't owe me that.
I know.
You sure?
I'm not sure about anything anymore.
There's that honesty again.
Jack, it's late. I don't know how late. The kitchen clock says it's 1:46, but the minute hand has been twitching instead of moving, and I don't have enough room in my head tonight to argue with time. I'm trying to stay quiet because Dennis is still asleep on the couch. I know. God, Jack, I know how that sounds. I know every single version of how that sounds actually, and none of them are kind. But I was watching him come apart, Jack, not loudly, not in some grand way. He didn't fall to his knees or hit the side of his truck or scream her name into the trees like men do in films when grief needs to prove it's large enough to deserve a whole scene. He just stopped holding himself together, and that's somehow worse. One second he was standing there in the rain with his jaw tight and his hands at his side like he could keep the whole night from touching him if he stayed still long enough, and then he said her name. And then something in him just went slack. I don't know how else to say it. I turned you off because it felt wrong to keep you listening, and that might be hypocritical, I know. I know I've let you hear plenty of things I probably shouldn't have, and I told you things I should have swallowed. I've made you sit in diner bathrooms and cars and kitchens and listen to me peel myself open because apparently privacy is only sacred when it belongs to someone else. But this is different, Jack. And I couldn't leave him out there. I couldn't stand there with the rain coming down and the trees watching us and his wife dead and tell him to go home. Maybe a stronger woman could have. Maybe a better woman should have. But I brought him inside and I made coffee because I didn't know what else to do with my hands. Coffee is a stupid answer to a dead wife, I know that. But it was warm and it gave me something to put in front of him, something to do besides stare at his face and wonder what grief is supposed to make a person look like. He didn't really drink it. He held the mug for a long time, though, both of his hands around it, like the warmth was the only thing keeping him from shaking. I asked him if he wanted me to call someone, and he said no. And then he said, who would I call? And I didn't have an answer for that, Jack. There are awful moments where you realize someone's loneliness has been sitting beside yours the whole time. I sat beside him. I didn't really sit too close at first, but then I sat too close. I know. God, Jack, I know, okay? I know, and there should be a correct way to sit beside a man whose wife had just been found dead. There should be a proper distance, a moral distance. Something you can measure with a ruler and say, there, that's grief, and this over here is sin, and as long as you keep your knees on the right side of it, you're still a decent person. I don't think I kept to the right side. I don't think I ever even looked for it. He leaned forward with his elbows on his knees and his face in his hands, and I put my hand on his back. That's all I did, is I just put my hand between his shoulder blades. His shirt was damp from the rain, and it was cold, and I could feel him breathing under my palm, not smoothly, not like somebody would when they're sleeping, but like each breath had to climb up out of somewhere deep and ugly. And then he turned to me, not dramatically, but just enough that he could put his forehead against my shoulder, and I held him. I didn't pull away, and I didn't ask the questions I should have asked. I didn't ask him why he didn't report her missing, and I didn't ask how long a while ago was. God, I hate that I even thought of those questions. Dennis was shaking. He was shaking like something inside of him had finally gone cold, and I wanted to comfort him because, God, not because I'm noble, not because I'm forgiving, and not because I understand anything, but because I care about him, Jack, too much. I care about him too much, and that has made me stupid in ways I can't dress up nicely enough for me to forgive myself. His wife is dead. Lila is dead. A woman is dead, and I was sitting on my couch with her husband's face against my shoulder, feeling needed. That is an ugly thing to admit. And it's even uglier that part of me was relieved that he came here. I'm not happy. No, God, I'm not happy. I'm relieved. Because he could have gone anywhere. He could have gone home. He could have gone to the auto shop. He could have driven until the road ran out. And instead he came here. To me. And some small, horrible, lonely part of me took that and held on to it like a gift. I don't know what that makes me. God, I'm afraid to know what that makes me. He's still asleep on my couch, not in my bed, Jack. I need you to know that for some reason. Not like it helps. Furniture does not have morals. I put the old quilt over him, the one that my mother made me with the uneven stitching. He didn't wake up when I did. He looks softer asleep, but I think everybody does. Sleep forgives the face a little. His hands are under the blanket, and I'm glad because I don't want to look at them tonight. Before he fell asleep, he asked if I thought she knew. I said, knew what? He said that I was sorry. I didn't know what that meant. Sorry for her being dead, or sorry about me, or sorry for all of it. Sorry for something specific and sharp that he did not want to hand me in the dark. So I just said, I think people know more than what we give them credit for. And I think that was a terrible answer because he said, that's what I'm afraid of. I keep hearing that sentence over and over. That's what I'm afraid of. It can mean grief, it can mean guilt, it can mean both because maybe grief and guilt are just two hands around the same throat. I don't know. I'm too tired to know. And Anka won't come near the door now. He was on the porch when we came up the steps, sitting right in front of the door, tail wrapped around his feet, and I said his name, and he looked at me. And then he looked at Denis, and he stayed exactly where he was. And Denis noticed. I know he did. He tried to crouch down and hold his hand out, and Anka made the sound I never heard him make before. Not a hiss exactly. It was lower and meaner sounding, like something small remembering it used to be wild. Denis pulled his hand back, and he actually apologized to the cat, and that almost made me laugh. Or cry. Maybe those two things are closer together than I would like to admit. I told Anka he was being rude, and he just blinked at me like I was being stupid. Maybe I am. But he's still out there now, Anka, I mean, on the porch. I could see him through the window from where I'm sitting. He's just a dark little shape against the glass watching the couch. He's watching Denis. He hasn't blinked in a while. The cats do that. They stare, and maybe that's all this is. Maybe Anka doesn't trust men who arrive in the rain. Maybe he smells the river on Denis's boots. Maybe I do too. No, I'm not doing that tonight. I can't. He is asleep on my couch under my mother's quilt, and his wife is dead, and I am too tired to hold every possible version of him in my head at once. Tonight he is grieving. Tomorrow can be cruel if it wants to. Tomorrow can ask all of its questions and can make me look at his hands. I don't want Denis waking up alone, and I don't want to be alone either. Anka is still at the window watching him. I wish he would blink. Good night, Jack.